Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls 1. This is part 5 of our curved Greatsword run. Last time we went through Blighttown and beyond and took out the Bed of Chaos and also comfortably got our entire setup going. This time we want to clear out a few optional bosses along with going down and taking out Nito, along with a few other things, mostly upgrades. So, let's get right into it. And I was going to go down to the Capra Demon, but you need a key to get there, and last time we came through here, it was in a bit of a rush, didn't pick the key up, but I figured already came this far, might as well just keep going and get it the normal way. And we're gonna have to run back across this bridge, so might as well get rid of the dragon, drake, wyvern. I don't know the difference. Big, scaly bat that breathes fire. They're all the same to me. But, hey, we were able to kill it pretty easily. Nice 10k. The Gravelord sword is very powerful. Claymore is also pretty powerful, but we can't use this run. But we go through, we get the basement key, and we're ready to head back, where we can then use it to get into the lower undead burg and go after the Capra Demon, which, upon getting there, we take a sip because we want to be full health. And so we're coming with 9 Estus, take note of that, and I will let this fight play out. Well, that was a pretty easy fight. Turns out when you ignore a boss until almost the end of the game, they're very easy. But we beat him with the Gravelord sword +5, the Crest shield +5, the Dingy hood +8, the Dingy robe +8, the Dingy gloves +6, the Bloodstained skirt +8, the Ring of Steel protection, and the Wolf ring, and 0 sips of the Estus flask, because we came in with 9. And we beat them at level 73 with 38 vitality, 42 endurance, 24 strength, 14 dexterity, and 11 resistance. And we beat them first try. Now, there's only 2 reasons that I fight this boss. One, I have to, it's part of my rule set, to go and beat every boss. And 2, for the large ember. But I didn't need the large ember this run, because that's only getting base weapons that use Titanite shards from +5 to +6. But I wasn't using that. I was using the Gravelord sword, which took Demon Titanite. So there was really no no incentive to fight the boss, but because of the narrow pathway of the boss room itself and the 2 dogs, there was a bit of incentive to not fight the boss. So we didn't until now. But coming through, we grabbed the large ember because it's here and why not? And then we took this drop to skip basically the entire area. Now, if my voice sounds raw and like the editing is a little bad, I'm sorry. What ended up happening was the editing software that I use had a major stroke, apparently, and it just, like, randomly decided to lock the timeline, which is how I, like, move and cut and edit things. It decided to lock that, super zoom out, crunch everything, and semi-locked everything so I couldn't move them. Don't know why. I've been using this for like 2 months now, ish. It's never done this before, and I don't know why it did it, but it did this time. And this was like 4.5 hours. All of it gone down the drain in an instant. I tried to get it back. I tried to fix it. Nothing I did worked. So, I don't know. But I had to redo everything. Except for obtaining the footage. Thankfully. But because I have to redo everything, I'm leaving some parts out. Because, no. But, yeah, we skipped the Slayer summons because I don't want to over-rely on summons. And we took the shield off because it's not useful this fight. And I will let this play itself out. Another very easy victory because we're using an already powerful weapon and we're extremely overleveled. So, free 25,000. And we beat them with the Gravelord Sword +5, the Dingy Hood +8, the Dingy Robe +8, the Dingy Gloves +6, the Bloodstained Skirt +8, the Chloranthy Ring, the Wolf Ring, and 0 Sips of the Estus, because we came in with 10. And we put our shield back on, and we beat them at level 73 with 38 vitality, 42 endurance, 24 strength, 14 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat them first try. Ooh. And we came to the new Londo ruins, we got the key to the seal, we opened the gate to push the lever, because I wanted to get the entire Dingy set to the same level, like +8, +9, +10. So that way, instead of going through each piece individually, I could just say, and the Dingy set, +8 or +9 or +10, to make it that easier. And I ended up deciding to go with +10, and this was kind of a horrible mistake. Because keep an eye on my souls. You will see the jump in souls that it took for me to get one single slab. It was ridiculous. And as you can see, we finally got a slab. And if you look at the souls, 471,800. When I came down here with like 9, maybe 10,000. So, it took a lot. And I got, like, roughly 15,000 souls per run-through. So, it was a lot of run-throughs. And, like, 50-ish thousand souls in, I decided to put on the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring, which brought my item discovery from 100 to 300. So it tripled my item discovery for the majority of this. And I believe the max item discovery is like 400, 410, something like that. So I was up on the higher end of item discovery. And it still took this long. Which, ooh. It took a lot. It was... I had to do this over the course of like like 2.5 days. And as you can see, I started out with 1 chunk. I ended with 77, so I got 76 chunks by the time I got 1 slab. That was a lot. It's so much. The game doesn't need to do this. The game doesn't need to be like this. I think I mentioned it before, but in the course of like 3 minutes, I had come up with an idea that probably easier in idea than to implement, but you could implement it in like a day, and it would solve that issue so quickly, so easily, in a guaranteed way that isn't overpowered. But I went over to Framped in order to exchange some of the Titanite chunks for large Titanite shards, and then some of those for Titanite shards. And as you can see here, Titanite slab, +5 for crystal and lightning. I originally wanted to get an extra 2 to fully upgrade a crystal and lightning weapon, but considering how long it took for me to get 1, I was not getting an extra 2, so no, I passed on that. I think I'll do crystal and lightning in New Game Plus, just as their own thing. And yeah, I got 47 transient curse in that grind, and I only killed like 5 or 6 of the ghosts per run to get there. But anyways, after all of that, we finally got what we need to upgrade the hood and the gloves. So again, if you care about the numbers, you can see the numbers. And it is a little bit of an increase in defense, but I didn't really do this for the defense. I did this more just to say, like, Dingy set +10 after each boss, instead of having to go through each piece of armor individually. But here, I decided to upgrade the server to +5, finally using it now, and then move it over to Divine, because we're going to be going back into the Catacombs, and Divine weapons are nice for the Catacombs, because respawning skeletons doesn't sound too fun. So we decided to not deal with that. And normally in challenge runs or runs where I'm trying to learn like this, I tend to not be a fan of grinding and benefiting from grinding, but this took so long that I figured, hey, if the game throws crap at you, you might as well make fertilizer. And it's not like we did this at the very beginning of the game. I mean, we're almost done. At the very least, we're halfway done. And we've gotten past the good half of the game, mostly. And I was checking, like, how much HP I got for each vitality stat. And I moved over to the server to check how much damage I got with Faith and whatnot. But I ended up, because I only got like 30 damage from Faith if I went purely into Faith. And that's only good for one weapon in one area. So I just went, nah, I'm good. Vitality sounds a lot nicer, especially since I don't have the best armor set defensively. And then I decided to put the last few levels into dexterity, because up until this point we've had the bare minimum for strength and dex, which that alone wouldn't make me move over because our damage is still really good. But I want to use the Great Boat, which requires 20 dex, and so figured move closer to that now while we can. And here I decided to check her damage, which, considering again we're riding the bare minimum stats, essentially. Much better damage than I thought. And I wanted to see if one-handing or two-handing would swing faster. But they looked about the same to me, so I decided to go with two-handing just because don't really need to shield. And I put this on because I wanted to get a higher item discovery for the big guy over here. Because these giant skeletons have a chance to drop the Murakumo, the third and final curved greatsword. Which, we didn't get it from them. That's okay. There's another one up here. And so, I mean, these guys are pretty easy to kill, especially with, like, bare weapons that can knock them down. Now, I didn't get it from this guy either, and considering the 470,000 souls we just got trying to get one Titanite slab, I had more than enough of my fill of grinding for the next few runs. So, not doing that, but we're still going to get the Murakumo. Don't worry, there is a more guaranteed way to get it that may or may not involve killing an NPC. We haven't done that this run at all, I know, but hey, things can change. Just don't remember the Lake of Ash. That didn't happen. Now, here, we're going back into the Catacombs, which is practically how we started this run. But this time we have the stats to use the weapons. And we have a weapon, and a shield, and an armor set, and rings, and everything's fully upgraded. So now we can come back in and show everyone how much progress we've made. And because of that, we hopefully won't die 5 times. Is that foreshadowing? Who knows? We'll have to just sit back and see. But going through here, I noticed these two guys, but I didn't see the third one. But once I did, I figured I might want to back out because I don't want to do 1v3. And apparently the skeleton thought this was an illusory wall, I suppose. Which, it's not, so didn't work out for them, but it worked out for me. And hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. And then coming across this bridge, I again didn't want a 1v3, so I wanted to back up and lower the 2 skeletons into here, but they kind of fell off the cliff, which, not what I was hoping for, but I'll take it. And with an easy kill onto him, we can keep on moving. And then going over here, because boosh. Apparently, even in death, gravity can still get you in this universe. But I was coming over here because I forgot that I turned to this lever when I came here in the very beginning. And the bridge being down and walkable didn't click in my mind for some reason. But hey, it reminded me that I had taken the wolf ring off, so that was a good reminder. And then we got a soul, which I had missed the first time because I was in a rush. But coming down to the bonfire, we decided to restore our humanity because we got one from an enemy, apparently. And look at that dodge. My dodges were still on point, and my spidey senses were going off here. I had a bad feeling. And I heard an enemy attack, and then a skeleton died, so I figured it was just that, and so I went to go across, but nope. Patches was pulling a little delayed one on us. So I went to go over to speak to him because what was that about, man? How could you? I trusted you. And then I realized you could pull the lever with him standing there, which I thought was really funny. Don't know why, but it was hilarious to me.
Huh? Oh, how are you then?
I'm just peachy.
Sort of lost my way, yeah.
I can show you the way out if you want.
I didn't touch any levers.
No, I touched it, not you.
Isn't it? Wait, did something happen to you?
Yes, my recording software crashed.
Don't look at me like that.
Now I'm tired.
The one and only.
Oh, are you now?
Everything's good with us, eh? Oh, come on. Take it.
Take what? I mean, that's kind of useless to me because I'm a much higher level.
We'll be wonderful friends.
I'm sure we will. I feel like Patch has crashed my editing software. I feel like he did it. I'm pretty sure he did it. It had to be him, right?
Oh, does it really matter that much?
Yes.
Come on now, what exactly do you think I did?
You crashed
You're not
it.
making sense, my friend.
You are making sense. Look at you.
Oh,
You have a wooden great shield and a spear. You clearly have the technical knowledge to do anything you want. But I'll just keep on moving then, and take a nice little stroll through the catacombs here, and say hi to my skilly friend. And he died. Still no Murakumo. A little tragic, but we got the Dark Moon Seance ring, so we can go and have a nice friendly chat with Gwyndolin whenever we want to. But I decided I wasn't going to do that just yet, because I wanted to get the Tomb of the Giant spawn fire first. Because you can teleport to that. And then another one of these guys. And the wolf ring is useful. And a skull lantern. Which, in case you don't know, you can trade that for the Ring of Fog, which is really, really good. And one of, if not my favorites. Like, it quite possibly is my favorite ring in Dark Souls 1. And it baffles me that it's not in the later games. But, again, decided to not go do that just yet because I really wanted the Tomb of the Giant spawn fire. So I didn't have to walk all the way down here again. Because, I mean, if I went this far into the game without the Ring of Fog, I can go an extra one boss in like an area and a half. I'll be fine. Now, I decided to go through the area a lot more thoroughly this time, because early on, in like my second, I got too aggressive there, but in my like second or third run through, again this is my, I believe, fifth, I made an area like rank, just like a quick little one with like 1 or 2 sentences for each area, and it meant to be like a rough draft. And I put the catacombs really low, in like low seed here, which I guess I think about it differently now, because now I see it as like a good little niche gimmick area that I enjoy, and I put it higher now. And the skeleton saw the bones of his dead friend and went, Had a bit of a pause before coming up. But just like his friend, he came up and met the same fate. Now, last run I went through the right hole. This time I went through the left hole. Because I thought they went to different areas, but nope. They both lead to this guy. Which, I decided to take him out because he wants us dead. Before actually looking at things, which, yep, they lead to the same area, which kind of confused me because I remembered vaguely that that room led to an area with 2 skeletons and another, like, fireball mage guy. I vaguely remembered that, but didn't find him. And here I decided I wanted to shoot the skull guy, but No, arrows just go right through them, so apparently the only way to kill them is to get them to blow themselves up. Which was a little strange, but... Skeletons. I always heard really bad things about the skeletons, and heard how everyone hated them. Which really confused me, because my first time running into them was in Dark Souls 3. Where they weren't really that bad. But... Stunlock. But just like with the dogs... I noticed they're a lot worse in this game. But we're using a good weapon class and we're very over-leveled. So they're manageable. They're manageable here. So we decided to take out the rest of them just to be safe so we aren't blindsided. And again, thankful for the wolf ring because it's very good this run. And very good in this game in general. But here we accidentally just stumbled into them. And so we take them out. And then I decided to look around to see if I could like reverse engineer where to actually get there. That isn't the right word for it, but I don't know a better fitting word, so. And there was a hole in this room. And I didn't see that before. So that's probably just an instance of me being dumb and not noticing it because I was going through too quickly. But moving on. And having beaten the entire area pretty much, we decided to go in and fight the quote-unquote boss here, Pinwheel. Keep in mind we are coming with 7 Estus, and I will let this fight play itself out. I don't know what to tell you. It's Pinwheel. That fight lasted like 15 seconds. But free, easy, 15k, not Mask of the Child. Beat them with the Gravelord Sword plus 5, the Dingy Set plus 10, the Flame Stone Plate Ring, the Wolf Ring, and 0 sips to the Estus because we came in with 7. And we beat them level 87 with 50 Vitality, 42 Endurance, 24 Strength, 16 Dexterity, 11 Resistance, and we beat them first try. See how nice it is being able to just say Dingy Set plus 10 instead of having to say each thing individually? It's so nice. Unlike this next area. Feels like just a poor gimmick area. Unlike the Catacombs, which are a decent gimmick area. But we put on the Sunlight Helm and cross the first bridge. Which, yeah, there are giant skeletons here that could drop to Murakumo, but no, I'm not doing that. So instead we just slide, take a U-turn to the right, take another slide, and turn around left and drop. Very easy, very quick. You can still do it without a light, but the light is safety. Which I realized that I had medium rolled. And so I decided to take off the gloves because that'll allow us to light roll. And then we can head back up and talk to Patches for the second time, because he knows us already.
Good day. What are you doing in the catacombs?
But he acts like he doesn't for some reason.
There's a knife in it.
I don't know why.
There.
I don't know why he acts like he doesn't know us. But we decided to come on down here, where we get the Skull Lantern, the way we're supposed to. Which, it's a light source if you want, but Sunlight Helm is still better. So, we stick with it. Now, if you're wondering why we're using the Sunlight Helm, when I mentioned before that I use a different armor set each run, the reason is because we're not using it for its like defensive properties as a piece of armor. We're using it for a secondary effect, being the light. So I see that as different. Just like if you use the Grass shield for Artorias, not to shield any of his attacks, but for the added stamina regen, I see that as different. Because you're not using it for its quote-unquote main function. I just see it as different. And then there's also the fact that we're only using it for one fight or for one area. So it's not like a thing that we're using multiple times. It's not a reoccurring thing. But we kill those two, we get replenishment. We're not gonna use it, but and then we head on off, which, walking through, there's these things, which still freak me out, because I've never seen them before in any of the other games. And the art style just lends itself very well to them. But having gotten the ring and the Tomb of the Giants bonfire, we decided it's probably time to head on back and do a few, just like one or two side things. The first of all is Gwyndolin, which we won't be halting, except for here. Which, put the ring back on, or put the gloves back on, rather. And I figured Spellstone Plate Ring would probably be better. And we had 6 Estus, which bothered me, so I took 1. So, note, we're coming in with 5 Estus, and I will let this fight play itself out. Victory achieved. What? I mean, hey, what can I say? It's Gwyndolin. It's a free 40k. But we beat them with the Gravelord Sword +5, the Dingy set +10, the Spellstone Plate Ring, the Wolf Ring, and 0 sips of the Estus because we came in with 5. And then put our shield back on. And then we beat him at level 87 with 50 Vitality, 42 Endurance, 24 Strength, 16 Dexterity, 11 Resistance, and we beat them first try. And then we go back to Firelink and sit down at the nest to bring ourselves back to the Northern Undead Asylum, where we can take out the first few enemies and then drop the Skull Lantern at Snuggly. And then quit the game because technical limitations, question mark? Oh, that's weird. But with that, we can get ourselves the Ring of Fog, which I I find it useful throughout most of the game, but I find it particularly useful in the next boss coming up in Gravelord Nito. It's just very nice. And we decided to do one more quick thing before heading back down into Down Deep Dark, because we don't want to be there. We decide to head on back up to the Undead Parish, where Rhaega's here.
Hello.
Hello.
I will never forget what you did. I am deeply indebted, for it was not within my power to save Vince or Nico. I cannot thank you enough. In case you have not heard, I am Rhea of
I have. I just keep forgetting.
I only wish there was some way I could help
Could you show me the directions to the nearest Pizza Hut?
And I only know the art of miracles. If that could be of any
It'd be a miracle if you could show me the directions to the nearest Pizza Hut. There's gotta be one here in Undead Parish, right? Come on, there's gotta be. There's gotta be.
Would a miracle be of any help to you? I would be most pleased if that was so.
Directions.
May we discuss miracles then?
Directions. How many times do I have to say this? It's like they aren't even listening. But I decide I have the souls. I really don't need a lot of levels left, so why not? I can buy all the miracles.
Vince and Nico were fooled by a lout named Hatches and turned into hollows.
But he's trusty.
My prayers did them no good. It is my ignorance, my frailty that has sealed their fates.
Has it?
Perhaps Petrus realized my weakness all along.
No, Petrus just realized that
to abandon me.
Tomb of the Giants is really, really dark, and it's hard to see, and the pebbles on the ground really get stuck in your shoes. And he didn't want to deal with that, which, like, totally understandable.
Farewell, Varia Nox.
What does that mean? I don't know what Varia Nox means.
Would a miracle I would make.
What does that mean?
Then be farewell, Varia Nox.
I don't know what Varia Nox means. Unless it's a call forward to Elden Ring, but I highly doubt that. But, whatever. Back to the Tomb of the Giants we go. And once we get back down here and we get our full setup... Oh, I hate it. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them so much. Why would they do this? Why would the developers do this? I don't know. But here I got a little panicked. Got a little lost. But something that always guides my way is the light at the end of the tunnel. The beautiful, ever-loyal, covetous Silver Serpent Ring. And since I was here, and since I had basically no souls, I decided to just look around, see what was going on, see if there was any way to skip through most of the area. If I could, which, one-handing, not a one-shot, which, neither of those two swings hit because apparently I have bad eyes. Whoosh. But we take them out, which gives us a bit more freedom to look around, which, it was clear that there was a big platform there. But where to go from here, I wasn't entirely sure. It's like, we could maybe drop down onto that, but that looked risky. And we looked down there, but that looked like it would be a one-shot. Even at full health, possibly. So, we decided to go with a riskier move. And took a little bit of gaining our courage, but eventually dropped down. And I had very much misjudged where I was, because I was not expecting a Skeledog there. But I decided to sniff around, and then we found the ladder, which I really wasn't expecting. looking back at it now, it makes sense, but I was a little panicked. Definitely more than I should have been, certainly. Which led to some not wise decision making. Like rolling directly into 3 Skeledogs. Which one of them just decided to jump off a cliff. Which, right after getting the Silver Serpent Ring, another one had also done that. So, like I said, even death doesn't save you from gravity. And, again, I was a little panicked, so decided to cash in my 1 humanity, just in case I died. Because, I mean, even using it, even if it doesn't help us at all, I don't really need humanity. Like, as I've gone on, I've realized more of its uses, but I still don't see it as, like, this precious thing to hold on to or to value super highly. But since we were in human form, we decided to get away from the Skeledogs and to enter the warm, loving embrace of Paladin Leroy. Which, I mean, honestly, replace every single Skeledog in that area with Paladin Leroy, and the area would scare me less. Especially since we were able to 2-shot him there, somehow. And get, like, 20k. And Sanctus. A beautiful shield. Still really upset that that's the only thing that heals us in Dark Souls 1, but, well. And after going through the Pinwheel room and getting rid of all them, we grabbed the White Titanite slab because, again, I want to upgrade as much as I can this run, which I'm not sure why they're skeleton babies. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know who agreed upon that decision, but that was a decision that someone agreed upon. Now, keep in mind, I'm coming in with 11 Estus. And the drop makes me use 1, so if you want to count that as 1 because I'm taking a sip here, if you don't want to count that as 1 because we haven't engaged in the fight yet, you do you. I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to go with just yet. But Gravelord Nito decided to be very, very kind here, and instead of spam scream, like spamming the scream attack, they decided to just walk towards us, which was very kind. And now that they've gotten to us, I will let this fight play itself out. Victory achieved. We put on the Silver Serpent Ring to get some extra souls, because we can, which a nice 72,000. Then we put this back on, which, very, very nice. I mean, we started this run off being given the Gravelord Sword by Nito, and now we dropped the Gravelord Sword. into Nito's body, killing him. I don't know how to do that, but Gravelord Sword +5, the Dingy set +10, Ring of Fog, Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring, and we can say 1 Estus, even though we didn't get hit by the boss at all, but I'll count it because it's very clear that it's intentional damage that you take, and I took a sip with the boss health bar there. But we beat them at level 88 with 50 vitality, 42 endurance, 24 strength, 17 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat them first try. Which, at this point, I felt like this was a good place to end it because we got good progress. We beat, like, I think 5 bosses. 2 of them being, like, main bosses. And we started out the very beginning of this run, coming here on our knees, groveling to Gravelord Nito. And now here, we come back fully decked out, fully upgraded sword, fully upgraded shield, fully upgraded armor set, rings, everything. We got it all, and we came back and stomped the boss. We stomped the Gravelord himself with his own weapon, having taken 0 damage from the boss himself. So, we were able to show all the progress that we've made to the man who started us upon this journey, giving us our first weapon. Felt very accomplished, felt very good. I thought this was an incredible way to end it. And, yeah,